Hey y'all, it's curriculum week. This entire week, I'll be sharing all the curricula and resources I have picked out for the 2022 to 2023 school year. And I'm so stoked to chat curricula with y'all and also to be hosting an epic collab. Make sure you check out the playlist link in the description box below. Make sure that you save the playlist because we're going to be adding to this playlist all week long, y'all. This collab is an open collab. It is going to be inclusive of lots of different kinds of homeschool mamas, religious homeschool mamas, secular homeschool mamas, all sorts of different styles of home education. So definitely keep that in mind. Hopefully you will find some new channels that are really helpful and appealing to you and your family. I definitely want to make sure that there is space for everyone in this collab. I think that we can all learn from each other, even if we don't do things the same or agree on everything. So moving right along, in today's video, I'm going to be chatting all of our family subjects, the things that we do all together. Let's get into it. All right, first of all, a huge welcome or welcome back to the channel if you are new here. My name's Kaela. I'm a second generation secular-ish homeschool mom. I have a lot more information about our family, our homeschool style, and what you can expect from this channel in the description box below, so go ahead and check that out. And if you decide that this is a place you want to be, make sure you click that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You can also connect with us over on Instagram. I like to share a lot more day-to-day life of what's going on in our homeschool over there. In our homeschool, we prefer to do the majority of our learning as much as we possibly can together. I have two girls, they're sisters, they're usually the best of friends. Sometimes they're the worst of enemies. If you have a sister, you already know about that, I'm sure. But most of the time, they prefer to be together. They really enjoy doing activities together and learning together. It's also very efficient for me to be able to cover multiple subjects with both kids at the same time. I know that that doesn't work for every family, but it works for us. So these are the things that we are going to be using together as a family for the 2022-2023 school year. Some of these are things that we've already been using and some are new. If you want more information about what we used this past school year, what worked, what didn't, and why we decided to continue with certain things and change others, then you might want to watch this video up in the cards. Let's talk geography. So geography is something that we naturally cover in other subjects and other areas as well. We might cover geography while we're learning about a science unit. We almost always cover geography in our history curricula. Sometimes we even cover geography when we are doing art study or music study or something like that. So I don't really have a specific curricula that is just for geography, but there is a resource that we've been using for a couple of years now, and we still really love to bring that in for extra geography, and that is the Atlas Crates by KiwiCo. So if you're not familiar, those are subscription boxes. The way that they come is they are themed by a country. So you will get a whole box for Australia or Thailand or Iraq or whichever country. They include like crafty hands-on projects. They also include lots of interesting facts, beautifully illustrated pages that you can continuously add to a passport book. And then on those pages, you'll find information about the people that live there or certain ethnic or tribal groups. You'll find recipes that you can make or directions for games that are popular in that country. All sorts of fun stuff, and you can really expand on it as much as you want to. Usually we get inspired by what we find in the box, and then that sort of will have a domino effect into more research and more rabbit trailing. One key thing that I am planning on doing in this upcoming school year, and I've actually already started with the last box that we just did, is to have the kids start notebooking what we are learning. That might be just one page with a little bit of copy work or a narration from my older daughter and maybe an illustration, just like some key points they learned about the country or their favorite fact. Okay, so moving on to history. I've already talked about this extensively, but we will be continuing on with History Quest Early Times. We're probably going to take a break from it over the summer and then pick it back up in August or September, but we love History Quest. We have really been enjoying it, and so I am very pleased to continue on with it. For science, it's kind of the same thing. We will be continuing on with what we have just recently started, actually, which is Blossom and Root Science Year 2. It's all about plants and fungi in Year 2. We just started this and we're already super into it. Probably gonna take a pause over the summer. For Spanish, if you watched my year-end review video, you know that Spanish was a flop last year. So I am super excited to try out some new things this year. The main curricula that I have picked out for Spanish is Beautiful Mundo Level 1. This is a secular, inclusive, beautiful Spanish curricula that's really focusing on Spanish phonics and vocabulary. So I'm very excited to try that out with the girls. Just looking at it, I think it's going to be a great fit for us. It does include poetry, music, literature as well. So yeah, I'm excited to try it. The other Spanish resource that I want to try is Spanish 1 by a company called Homeschool Languages. The way that that curricula is set up is you literally get a box that includes everything you need for 6 months of learning, and it is geared for ages 4 to 10, which will be perfect for our family. It looks very hands-on and play-based. I think it will play really well with Beautiful Mundo, which is more literature and writing-based. And I think it will be a great way to involve my younger daughter. She is going to be sort of a hybrid kindergartner, first grader next year. She still doesn't do a whole lot of writing or copy work, and I don't want to add too much to her plate. Beautiful Mundo Spanish does have quite a bit of like tracing and copy work as part of the curricula. My older daughter will handle that fine, but I'm worried that it might add to the workload a little too much for my younger daughter. So Homeschool Languages will be a great way to sort of incorporate her into the lessons and give her a variety of games and play and hands-on things that she can do as part of our Spanish lesson without having to do so much like pencil to paper work. Next up is literature. We do enjoy doing a lot of reading together. We especially love to read picture books. We usually will have a chapter book that we are reading through slowly together as a family, but I really want to try to bring in a little bit more formality and structure with literature studies. I tried to go without it last year, and I really felt like we were missing it. So my plan is to actually revisit Blossom and Root Language Arts. Now, I have tried Blossom and Root Language Arts once before, and it didn't really go well. We tried level 1 back in 2020, and the literature choices were not super appealing to my daughter at the time. However, Blossom and Root has completely redone and revamped their level 1 language arts. That means all new book choices. They've definitely made an effort to make the book list more inclusive and more appealing and more modern. So I actually think that my daughters will really enjoy these stories that they have in the new, revamped, revised level 1 of their language arts. Being that I will have a 3rd grader and a hybrid kindergarten first grader, I think that covering level 1 literature as a family is a nice happy medium. These stories are mostly folk tales, myths, fairy tales, which is still universally appealing to both of my girls. My older daughter is reading a ton of chapter books independently that are at her grade level or even higher. So I am not super worried about using some picture books as family lit study. She's still able to consume literature that's designed for older kids. But I really just think this will be something fun that we can do together and kind of get us back into the practice of formal literature study, where we read a book, we discuss it, we answer questions about it. Maybe we do a hands-on activity or notebooking about the book. So yeah, that's the plan. I'm going to try it out. I have no idea if it will be successful or not, and I'll definitely let you guys know which way it goes. But I'm excited. I think that this new revised version of level 1 is going to be a good fit for us. All right, so let's move on to poetry. Typically, we have poetry reading time once a week. I'm not fancy. We don't do like poetry tea time and set the table and, all that jazz. We just read poems over breakfast together. That's it. For the last couple of years, we've been really focused on nature poetry and seasonal poetry, and that's been wonderful. We love that. We will definitely keep going back to that. But this upcoming year, I really want to tie in something more fresh, something more inclusive. So I will be pulling from 2 different books for poetry. The first one is Feel the Beat, dance poems that zing from salsa to swing. This collection looks amazing. It's poetry that is celebrating social dancing, and it looks like something my kids will really enjoy. We love music. We love to dance. We're a Latino family. We love to dance. This book has been on my wish list for a while, and I'm super excited to actually bring it on board. It looks like it's going to be so much fun. The second book I'm going to be pulling from for poetry this year is Hip Hop Speaks to Children, 50 Inspiring Poems with a Beat. Again, this book has been in my wish list for a long time. It does come with a CD, so I'm planning on keeping that in our van. And it features poems from Queen Latifah, Maya Angelou, Jay-Z. I love that it's making that connection between hip hop and poetry, because hip hop is poetry. My husband loves hip hop, so my kids have been exposed to it quite a bit already, but I really want them to be able to make that connection that this is poetry too, and we can actually study it and enjoy it and see the literary value in it. So those 2 books will be added to our morning time shelf. And then on Wednesday, when it is time for poetry time, we will be pulling those books out and enjoying them together. The other thing that is going to be added to our morning time shelf is some vocabulary resources. So we have not done a whole lot of formal vocabulary study in our homeschool as of yet. The one exception to that is the units that we have used from Core Knowledge. Those units do tie in formal vocabulary study. I want to bring in 2 more resources just to have some more fun, light vocabulary study. The first resource is a new dictionary called Once Upon a Word Origin Dictionary for Kids, building vocabulary through etymology, definitions, and stories. Another book that's been sitting in my wish list for a few months now. We do have a children's dictionary that we already use and enjoy. I really want to check this one out and sort of compare and contrast and see if it brings something new to the table. I'm pretty sure it will, based on what I've seen of it online. So yeah, I'm excited to see. The other fun resource for vocabulary is going to be this book, Merriam-Webster's Word of the Day, 365 Elevating Utterances to Stretch Your Cranium and Tickle Your Humerus. This book looks super fun. I've seen a couple of other YouTube mamas talk about it, and I've seen some of my friends on Instagram picking it up. I cannot wait to get my hands on it. I think it will be the perfect addition to our morning time routine. Next up is art and music study. So for music/composer study, we will be continuing with Woven Melodies from Thistles and Biscuits. We haven't gotten very far with that curriculum. As with other curricula that we use, we tend to have a slower pace than what is set out in the curricula, where they have 1 composer and 1 family of instruments per week. We might linger and sort of do that over the period of 2 weeks or even 3 weeks. So it's taking us a little bit longer to get through it. Totally fine. So that is staying in our lineup for next year. For the visual arts, we have something new. I've talked about Blossom and Root, Math in Art. We've liked it. we're probably ready to shelf it at this point. The other thing that we have used for visual arts is our core knowledge art resource prints. And I might continue to buy subsequent levels to sort of add to our collection of art prints. But again, with this new art resource, I don't know that that will be completely necessary. The new thing for visual art, and we've actually already started it because we got so excited, is using Art Everywhere by Harcourt Books. In my stories highlights on my Instagram, I do have a flip through of grade level 2. I got so excited about this book, I went and bought all the elementary school levels. So I have 1st grade through 5th grade. These books are designed for public school students. They are actually student textbooks. The downside of the books is they are not being printed anymore, which is why I went ham and I bought all the levels because I wasn't sure about future availability. The upside is they're very inexpensive. I found them on Amazon, eBay. I have heard of other mamas finding them on Thrift Books or Abe Books or Bookshop. On average, they're between $6 and $9 a book, which is amazing because with that book, you're getting an entire year's worth of art study. I love these books because they are written for young kids. So the text is very minimal, clear, and easy to understand. They include all of your visuals in the book, so it's very open and go. They're also cross-curricular, so they're tying in a little bit of geography or a little bit of history or even some science, nature, some reading practice into the art study. I'm planning on making a video where I show you all the levels, 1st grade through 5th grade, side by side, so you can get a really good look at how they work. They do cover the same key concepts of visual arts, like the elements of design and the elements of art each year, but they're going a little bit deeper and keeping it age and grade level appropriate in the higher levels. And of course, they're using different works of art in each grade level. We are 2 lessons in at this point and we're already completely sold. It just works beautifully for my girls. So I am stoked to continue on with these books. Let's talk about SEL, social emotional learning. There are a couple of main things I'm going to be using to cover social emotional learning in our homeschool. One of them we have already started and will continue with. That is the Dash into Happy book series. I have a whole video about these books if you're interested in seeing a flip through and review of them. They are beautiful and really well done. And we've had some awesome conversations and lessons learned through the books already. So we will keep reviewing those together. The new thing that I want to bring on, and I actually saw this on Tori, the Oglesby Ohana, she featured these cards and she's been talking about them. These are called empowering cards for kids for mindfulness, affirmation, self-esteem, relaxation, and more. These cards look awesome and they look like something that we really need. Without going into too much detail, because I do want to respect my kids' privacy, we have several perfectionists in our family, myself included. And the ugly side of perfectionism is that it can cause you to be really down on yourself when what you're doing, what you're working on does not meet your expectations of yourself, right? So I'm hoping that these cards will bring in some self-love and some positivity. We will cover a card each morning for our morning time, and I'm just really hoping that that will sort of set the tone for our day to believe in ourselves and be proud of the effort that we put into things. These are lessons that are extremely critical for all of us to learn, but I really feel like they are needed in our family, in our homeschool with my girls right now. So I'm excited to try these out. All right, y'all, I think that's it. I think that is all the stuff that we will be covering as a family in our homeschool for 2022-2023. Don't forget to check out the playlist link and keep coming back to it so that you can see my videos later in the week. 3rd grade choices and 1st grade. Hybrid kindergarten 1st grade choices will be coming out later this week. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Do you cover any subjects as a family in your homeschool? If so, what subjects do you do and what are your favorite resources? Let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye.